Newcastle 2, Man United 1. That was a disappointing game. A game where we created little to no chance throughout. In the second half, we pretty much created no chances. In the first half, we created zero to no chances. Like, our attack was poor. All of our front three was poor. The front three we started off the game with, they were poor. Nothing was really connecting with them. I feel like on the ball we weren't bad for. I don't even think like it was a bad performance from us in general throughout the whole game. Like if you actually see the game, you actually see the goals we conceded. They were just poor. They were just poor mistakes that were made, individual mistakes. So with the first goal, Bruno Fernandes, there was no reason to stick out your leg when Mazraoui was behind him to cover that cutting from Gordon. And even with the second goal, Malacia, there was no. I don't know why. Like I don't know if he hasn't played for so long that he's forgetting his abilities. But bro, I don't know why he didn't fully cover that Newcastle player that was in front of him. And you can see mistakes like this, especially against Newcastle at their ground. You can't be making mistakes like this. You just can't. You know they're going to be turned up. Newcastle turned up against every top six team they play against. You know they're going to be riled up. The fans are going to be riled up. The players are going to be riled up. The manager's going to be riled up. The passion's going to be there. And it's like, in games like this, you shouldn't be making mistakes like that. And if you're making mistakes like that, at least try and do something going forward. Going forward, they did nothing. A front three of Cunha, Sesko, and Bremo. And Bremo, he had a poor game, probably one of his worst games in the Man United shirt today. And we know Mbemo isn't the best in terms of overall performance, in terms of his progressive performance and things like that. But Mbemo is one of the players if he'll eventually ride out the storm and get the goal or get the assist. But today he didn't do none of that. And Sesko, he needs people to provide the ball to him. And if Mbemo isn't playing his A game, Cunha again isn't playing his full on A game, is having good spells every now and then. Sesko isn't really gonna do nothing, so you can't even blame Sesko like that. I just don't feel like that front three really is really like connecting the way it should connect, and we're seeing that the way we're not getting a lot of chances, we're not getting a lot of shots on target, and it's just been a thing that's been happening for a while now, man. And it's just annoying because games like this, especially against Newcastle, don't get twisted. It is Newcastle at the end of the day. We're not really good in their stadium like that, but this is a Newcastle side that aren't the greatest, and they had 10 men. So games like this, we need to be getting 3 points. We really need to be making the most out of the fact that Aston Villa are just dropping points left, right, and centre. And the fact that we drop points in a game like this is just annoying, really and truly. I feel like in the first half, the game began. Obviously, Newcastle were in the first half, especially in the first like 20, 30 minutes, in like they were having a lot of chances. I feel like we let because our attacking three aren't the greatest attacking three altogether, and are not creating a lot of chances like that. I feel like because of that, a lot of our midfield had to go forward, and because of that, against the runner play, we were leaving a lot of spaces wide open, and that's how you can even see with the Gordon chance. That's why Gordon had so much space. Bruno should never have stuck out his leg, but but if we weren't so poor against the runner play in this game, then he probably wouldn't have had to do that. If you get what I'm trying to say, and it's just one of those ones there. I don't know what's been happening since the West Ham game, but it's like we've just left so much space open. We saw the same thing against Palace. We saw the same thing, and things that you just can't continue to be losing or leaving out that much space against teams like Newcastle. It just won't end well. So I feel like from that, obviously Newcastle, they scored a penalty, they're always gonna score that. And the fact that they even had 10 men, I even forgot that Ramsey got the red card. Bro, like I even forgot Ramsey got the red card. That's how poor we were in the second half going forward. Like from then, obviously before the half ended, Casemiro, we got an equalizer through that Bruno Fernandes crossing to Casemiro. But even after that, that was our only real chance that half. I feel like the Kobe chance. I think that was the next half. But in that half, that was our only real chance. Again, it goes back to my original point. We're not creating enough chances in the final third. I don't even feel like progressively we were bad like that. But the second we got to the final third, it's like our players just didn't know what to do. Like Cunha, it wasn't sticking when he was on the ball. He had good spells. Don't get it twisted. There was times where he looked very good, but there was times where he didn't look the best at the same time. I feel like with Sesko, same thing. He needs provision. He needs people to provide the ball to him. With Mbemo, he wasn't good enough today. In general, in everything, he wasn't good enough. When he was on the ball, Progressively weren't good enough. Defensively weren't providing enough. And when things like this happen, you need to be making quick changes, I feel like. And that's something where Michael Carrick lacked today. I feel like Michael Carrick probably should have brought on Ahmad and Xerxes a lot earlier on. Because when Ahmad got brought on, you could see defensively he provided a lot more energy. Going forward, he provided a lot more energy. Up and down the flanks, he was a lot more of a value than Mbemo was. You can see with Joshua Xerxes, when he was on the ball, he was creating risks. He was taking risks. You even saw with that shot off. It was an amazing save from Ramsdale, but you see he was taking risks. And you need players like this, especially in games like the Newcastles, where you need to be making a lot of attacking opportunities for yourself. You need to be finishing off your chances. We need players like that, especially against a Newcastle team that was defending for their lives, not to rub them out. They got every reason to. They got the win against us. Newcastle, they like, bro, that was a good performance from them. Good defensive performance. They made the most of every chance they had. That's good on them. Probably the best team we've performed that's played against us in terms of performance. But it just goes to show again, attacking, we're not creating enough chances. Like if you don't create chances, how are you gonna score? And we weren't doing that throughout the whole game like that. And it just goes. That's the main reason we lost. Like that's that. If I'm being real, because apart from that, we actually weren't bad. Like in terms of keeping the ball, we were good for the majority of the game. I feel like the second Casemiro got taken off. I don't know why he got taken off. It might have been because obviously we know Casemiro is getting older, so his body can be getting a lot more fragile now. But the second he got taken off, you can see like when he got brought on, we weren't keeping the ball the same way. Like, it was just peak for us, but we weren't bad. We weren't horrible. I can't sit here and say we were just bad for the whole game because we actually weren't bad. But it's like we weren't creating chances. If you don't create chances, it's like, what do you expect? That's just my thing with the game. And even the second goal that Newcastle scored, it was just a horrible goal to concede. Malacia again. When you got players like that, that's basic defending skills. Close him down, like bro. An under 9 player would have closed him down, applied the pressure. Like I don't know why he just allowed the Newcastle player to turn him, bro, and he got his deserved goal. And from then again, going back to my original point, we didn't look like doing anything after that goal we conceded, and that was just the thing throughout the whole game, man. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe our front three, maybe it doesn't work because if we're being honest, Sesko, he needs someone to provide the ball to him, and Burmo's not gonna do that to a good enough level. The same way an Ahmad would. Cunha's not gonna do that consistently throughout the game. We know Cunha's one of them players who's gonna take risks, who's gonna try to do a thing himself, so he's not always gonna be providing the ball to Sesko. So maybe the front three of Sesko and Bemo and Cunha just doesn't work. Like that's the reality of it, because the lack of chance we created that game was concerning. It was actually concerning. Like the only real chances we really had were chances from outside the box, and we can't be making defensive mistakes like the ones we made today. Because both of the goals we conceded, they were mistakes at the end of the day that we easily could have resolved. If Bruno didn't stick his leg out, we would never have got the penalty, and Newcastle would never have got the penalty. If Malacia actually stuck to his man and actually closed him down, the Newcastle player would never have gotten that chance, and Newcastle might not have gotten the goals they got today. So again, man, it's just one of those ones there, man. We need to find an attack that suits us throughout a whole game, and from then I feel like it will be better. I'm not going to scapegoat Michael Carrick because if we look at it from a different perspective, at the end of the day, this is his first loss in about 2 months since he's been here. So he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to be like the English Pep Guardiola. He is going to make mistakes, but again, it's how he bounces back from them. Next game we play, we're just going to have to see if he's really learned from his mistakes and if he's really going to pick a front three that really, really suits us going forward and really makes enough chances throughout the game in general. So, yeah, man, that's just what I think, people. But, yeah, make sure you, man, like the video. And, yeah, man, thank you for watching.